Now, as promised, speaking of menthols,
Oh no.
you guys know the shooting that happened the other day at Fort Stewart, right? I believe 5 people were injured. No one was killed, thankfully, but a sergeant went on kind of a rampage. So, the U.S. Army sergeant accused of shooting 5 fellow soldiers at Georgia's Fort Stewart Air Force Base, Army Base, is facing attempted murder, aggravated assault, and domestic violence charges. Army officials say one of the victims was 28-year-old Army Sergeant Cornelius Radford's, which I do like. I do like how a lot of the times certain individuals have very regal sounding names like Cornelius, right? But they're spelled just a little bit off.
What do you mean by certain individuals?
It just exactly that.
It could be anybody.
Yeah. It's like LaFondarius. It's like close, but not quite, right? It's just a little special. So
what a high-class sounding name.
Cornelius Radford's romantic partner. Under military law, attempted murder carries a potential penalty of life in prison.
Hopefully.
Hopefully in this case. And this is the individual we're talking about. On Tuesday, 28-year-old Army Sergeant Cornelius Radford made his first appearance in military courtroom. The backstory, Radford was arrested August 6th after officials say he opened fire with a personal handgun on members of his supply unit. The shooting caused the Army post near Savannah and multiple school systems to go into lockdown for hours. Officials say Radford was stopped when soldiers in the area tackled him and wrestled his gun away, restraining him until military police arrived. All 5 of the wounded soldiers survived the attack. Now, this is one of those many such cases of mass shootings where many bullets are fired, many people are injured, but almost no one is actually killed, which is fortunate, right? Because the accuracy potential of these individuals is a little on the low side.
Yep, now, opponents can't aim.
Yeah, the ops came for him, or he came on his ops, or something like that. Because, why don't I just let this play for you, gentlemen?
Possible motive in last week's Fort Stewart shooting.
Sources say Sergeant Cornelius Radford was in an intimate relationship with one of the men who was shot. A man he reported to authorities as his husband just months before the attack. WSAV's Christine Quayle is joining us now with what court records reveal about that connection.
Yes, Tina, Ben. So through court records and sources with knowledge of the investigation, I've learned that the alleged Fort Stewart shooter, Sergeant Cornelius Radford, seemingly had a romantic relationship with a man who was one of the victims. Sergeant Cornelius Radford was arrested by a Georgia State Patrol officer for driving under the influence on May 18th, just weeks before he allegedly opened fire on Fort Stewart. In the report, the arresting officer says his car was released to a man he self-reported to be his husband. However, according to court records from Liberty County, that man was already married to a person sources say identifies as a woman and was in the process of...
Identifies?
Yeah, there's a lot of strange stuff in this. So he got a DUI right before the shooting and then uses his own personal handgun on base to try and kill not only his quote-unquote husband, right, but also everybody else in the vicinity. Yeah, not so on the down low anymore. Woo.
Finalizing a divorce from her. In fact, court records show the divorce between the man Radford referred to as his husband back in May and that man's wife was finalized one day before the shooting at Fort Stewart. Though Radford told Georgia State Patrol the man who took custody of his car was his husband, a source with knowledge of the investigation told WSAV that Radford was only known as an acquaintance to the man with the potential for a relationship. That source confirmed Radford's self-reported husband was one of the shooting victims.
We do have new information tonight about a...
Yeah, so on the military base, gets a DUI, gets a divorce from somebody else that claims to be a woman, and then decides to shoot up his supply buddies.
Why would we ever let these people into the military? And I mean that in 2 ways.
Yeah. Gays and the other. Okay, all right. Yeah.
That was a joke.
Yeah. Very, 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 very bad.
I don't think it's a joke.
No, it's fine. It's all strange. Troon Chaser. Many such cases. There's a weird gay undertone in some of these communities. Trans as well. Yeah. Troon loving three-way. Yeah. Focus is low. I'm low. Okay, I could turn it up a little bit. That's easy to do. Appreciate you. Hello. Check 1. Check 2. How many days has it been since we haven't had an audio incident? 0. That should be better, right?
That's better.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, the alleged Fort Stewart shooter was seemingly involved in an intimate relationship with one of the male victims and self-reported the man as his husband just months before the shooting, according to a report WSAV acquired. The alleged shooter, Sergeant Cornelius Radford, was arrested by Georgia State Patrol GSP for driving under the influence on May 18th, just weeks before he allegedly opened fire on Fort Stewart. So this was the Elmo reaction there. This is a legendary crash out. Not valid, but a legendary crash out.